Alright, we're good. I think we are. No, it says sending and streaming, so I guess we're good. Mic looks like it's working. Da 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 da. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Welcome, welcome. It is that time of the week for hard mode. And final thoughts, as always.
It's over. Now.
I'm gonna be honest, there is not too many additional Ooh. Okay, this I like. Normal stage. Okay, you know what? This actually makes sense. This is the papers that she's being given. And this is the actual files inside that she has to manipulate. Okay, I kind of like that. Okay. Here, let me just do this now. But speaking of doing stuff, it's a new week. We already have her, so let's roll for some generals. Snow White left the pool yesterday, unfortunately. One more. Yeah, I'll use the gems. But I already got a Snow White, so I'm not the most pressed about it. I saw the revised wish list looked like it had an update on it, but I don't know what was added. I mean, I guess Nayuta and Liberalio. Admittedly. Could probably do you and that. Just for over here, no one really stands out as needed. I mean, I still want more crests because I think crest is actually pretty decent versus 2 with enough investment. Probably do more Tove instead of in. Just because Tove actually is good for shotgun teams, which I've been using a bit more of. Then this is fine. The reason we have K up here is because I finally max limit broke D. I should do one of these later, but whatever. We do have the new under advisement, but we will do that later. Oh yeah, I have this up here too. I don't remember if I did this on stream last week, but I did update the lobby to add this one. Because it has crest. That's the only reason. We also have the one you guys just saw with Snow White, and then the standard 5 that we've always had. Yeah, I keep doing the scenes from events for my backgrounds just because I like doing it. Anyway, we did our rolls. Unfortunately, no new Nikkes, but we have them all right now anyway. We just like polling because we like polling. For now, though, is there a stronger team I can make with... I mean, realistically, don't need Isabel, but... I mean, these two can basically hard carry anything anyway. So, while we're doing the actual events, let's talk about, the event.
I'm a woman who gets things done.
The first 12 episodes, I am very happy we didn't have a new mind race. We've had a lot of events, it feels like, where they start in the middle and then flash back to the beginning of it, which I am kind of getting sick of, honestly, especially when we have stuff like that where it's, oh, these two are getting mind wiped again. I don't like that too much, especially because I'm just kind of sick of all the depressing events, which I count this one in there. Not because it made me sad or crying. I didn't even cry during Nora's death. I didn't cry. I almost cried during Goddess Fall, I will admit. That was fucking intense, but... We've basically had no chill, no cooldown for this event, Arc Guardian, Year 3. Is there anything between Year 3 and Arc Guardian? I think it was the winter event, right? Which was also not fucking chill.
Shall we start our private party?
I'm just double checking the release calendar for Nikke real quick. The Nikke event according to the wiki. List of event. Oh my god. High label.
I shall decide your destiny.
Yeah. Sun Editor, Art Guardian. Yeah, so we had the winter events and then Goddess Fall. Yeah, so Goddess Fall, Blank Ticket, and Terminus Ticket, which are basically the same event. Goddess Fall.
Despite a cursed garment,
Who's before
I'm able
Goddess
to
Fall?
slice
Yes,
a
my
rapture.
commander.
Might be this.
Oh, that was the mini event for Rappy, which is absolutely fucking stupid. Yeah, we haven't had a just silly feel-good event? Wait, we haven't had a silly feel-good again since Delta's ninja form. What the fuck? Which was right before, what's it called? Goddess Fall.
Now that the intruders are all gone, shall we start our private party?
Even before that, it was, yeah. So, that's, yeah, like 4 events in a row that have all just been serious or sad. I'll give credit for Blank Ticket because it was at least somewhat feel good. I did like Nora and Soline's interactions. I hate that Nora just died in the next event immediately. I feel like that was just kind of fucking stupid. But we haven't had any real cooldown time since year 3. Which I am personally not the biggest fan of. I'm hoping next event is calmer. Just a funny event that is here to make us laugh instead of make us depressed. Or he'll give us the fan service events again too. I'll fucking take it. I'll take anything besides just your seriousness and depression all the time. Oh no. We'll see who the new events in the arc and the we'll see whose Bond story is in the new section for story relations and see what that says about the next event. But I'm really getting tired of all the serious events. And I do consider this a serious event or a sad event. I know some people have not considered this one to be one of the more depressing events. I highly disagree actually though. The main reason I do is just looking at Label's entire story and personality and what happens here, and the fact that she literally had deluded herself into this fantasy world. I think it's pretty fucking sad. And it really is depressing. On to the actual subject matter though, because that does tie into why I think it's a depressing event. I don't like that it's Label's job to censor the information. On the topic of it, I understand why the ARC is doing it. I'm not a fan of the ARC doing it. I understand why they are, especially for what type of game this is and what type of government the central government is portrayed to be. I fully understand all those aspects. This is a job for Triangle, though. Because Triangle actually revolves around central government information and doing this type of shit. This is not the kind of job for the librarian. Arcana could do this type of job, and I would actually understand that. Because Arcana would make sense since she handles the secret library, since she needs to see the real documentation as well. But again, this is more of a Triangle thing than the librarian thing, because the secret archive is to have the true information. Phantom herself, we do know she does transcribe documentation, some of which is sensitive and not allowed in the public portion of the library. But I don't like what Label has to do. Not just because I'm not a fan of what the central government's doing, don't get me wrong. I understand it, it's a necessary evil for what they're doing. Oh, it's a necessary evil in their eyes for what they're doing, but it's not the librarian's job to do this. For the actual contents of the event, though, which I seem to keep beating around the bush of, because this event, I feel like it's a little controversial whenever I hear people talk about it or see people talk about it online, because they don't agree on if it's depressing or not. They don't like Label's actions. I don't think Label is the one who should be doing it, period. But just for the event itself, I kind of like Label's entire gimmick. I think her delusion is interesting for such a broken character, and her fear of making those attachments again because she doesn't forgive herself for harming them. I think that's interesting. She's a little forward, and I'm not going to voice act everything she says. Not voice acting, period, but I'm still reading from the damn script. But still, I'm not fucking doing that for everything she says.
Private party.
Hi, Isabel. The event was rather simple, I will also say that, because all we really had was figuring out what's happening from Label. I feel like that's kind of, what's the word, diminished by the fact that it took me like 3 seconds to figure out what was going on. There was literally no ifs, ands, or buts. I knew the central government was going to be suppressing this information if things weren't going as well as they wanted. It's just what this type of government does. The fact that the commander didn't figure it out is kind of mind-boggling. And the fact that it brought us here, I don't really care for, because again, it should be triangle! I'm harping on this, I know, but I really don't want this to be the librarian's job. It's not their wheelhouse. Hell, I would have rather just the Labels event involve the actual books themselves, because that would have been more to theme and interesting in my opinion, humbly. Anyway, that little rant aside, it really was pretty much a filler event. Dealing with Label was interesting, and knowing what happens doesn't surprise me, but it does actually confirm that the central government is doing that, which is something. And here, let's see what hard mode does. Maybe this will give me more things to say. After that incident, with Label's cooperation, I gathered accurate data on the Ark's food supplies and other resources. Going all the way back to the Ark's... Oh! The amount of resources collected by the commanders, including myself, was absurdly low compared to our targets. It's a miracle the Ark has even survived this long. What would happen if this fact became public? Oh, okay, so they're going to justify why we're lying to the populace. A sense of dread flashes through my mind. Wanting to clear up the doubts that have been piling up over the past few days, I go to see Ingrid, who's in charge of supplies and logistics. You don't usually reach out first. So what's this about? I'm not sure if you're aware. But Label... Oh, why did you do that? I see. You're calmer than I expected. Well, this falls well within what I anticipated. Once you got involved with Label, this was inevitable. Are you going to punish her? If so, it's my fault for telling you. According to regulations, this can't be overlooked. Someone has to take responsibility. And then I'll... Right, I figured you'd say that. I'll let this one slide. You already know dozens of secrets that could shake the Ark to its core. Knowing one more won't affect its operations. Besides, I'm well aware of the burden she carries. Doesn't seem like you ordered it. That's right. It was Enix's request. She concluded that releasing all incoming information to the Ark as is would have severely Yeah, which is true. Is that all? Given how much preparation you've done, I doubt you came here with just one question. I explained to Ingrid what can reasonably be inferred from the data. I figured that as the person in charge of the Ark's resources, you couldn't possibly be unaware of this. A sharp observation. The Ark is a vast underground city. From the day it was built, humanity has sourced all manner of resources from the surface, not just electricity and food. However, the success rate of operations has remained low. As a result, the resources we obtain are woefully insufficient. We're consuming far more than we're gaining. Precisely. This fact has been true since the day the Ark was first created. So far, we've somehow managed to maintain the Ark, thanks to the surplus resources brought in during the initial migration. Let me put it this way. Grossly insufficient supplies, ever-increasing demand over time. If those two factors persist for decades or even centuries, what do you think will happen? I'm sure you already know the answer. Everyone has turned a blind eye to the uncomfortable truth. Deep down they know. The Ark doesn't have much time left. Okay, I was not expecting that.
Did you see that? How was it? It was cool, right?
It makes
Did you fall for
sense,
me?
though. The arc has basically always been on borrowed time. If that's the case... Well, that hard mode was a little more important than I thought it would be. I still don't think any of this has anything to do with Label, and I don't appreciate that she's the one here for it. But it's interesting. Yeah, again, there's not much I really have for this event that I really feel like saying. Because the event itself was pretty filler, with the exception of that hard mode. The hard mode feels obvious, but the fact that they're actually acknowledging it is interesting. I'm wondering now how long they have before the stockpile runs out. I feel like this is something that'll be addressed later.
Dispatching now.
And I do want to say it. I appreciate that all of Bestseller has different themes for their events. Phantom is the start of the Phantom Thieves, obviously. Arcana had the Secret Library, and now we have the record censoring from Label, which does kind of tie into Arcana's thing. But I do like that each of the librarians have their own different focus. I don't like Label's focus, and I will not stop saying that, but I think it's interesting. Alright, let's see who we're dealing with. What? But we're in Label's event now. So this is either for the current event, or we're getting another Phantom Thief event next. I don't think we're getting one. Oh god, unless they make this a two-part event. If they do it like they did Blank Ticket, I'm gonna be kind of pissed. Because I don't want that to be the case. I don't think it fits for anything we have going on here. Also, I never ended up getting the, what's it called? The Quincy skin. I just didn't feel like it. Yeah, there's really not much I have to say about this event. I do like Label as a character. I think she's interesting. I'm going to put some investments in her later to see how I actually feel she does in an actual combative experience role. Because her kit doesn't look half bad. She basically always has a shield up. Does some extra health. And does some attack buffs. Yeah, she feels like a decent enough support.
You don't really want me here, do you? I'm sorry.
I also like purple hair. Well, not purple hair, but the color purple as a scheme. I just like purple. So Label has automatically endeared herself to me from just having purple as one of her primary color schemes. I do think Bestseller is just up there as well for squads I like because they're librarians. And I like the librarian aesthetic. Yeah, there's really not much else I can say for this event, unfortunately. It's an event with a lot of stuff that happened, but that stuff is... It doesn't feel like it fits for the squad they threw it in. But everything else about it makes perfect sense to me, if that makes sense to you guys. Oh, aside from... I actually might win this. Oh, we're just gonna see this real quick. I don't think I will end up doing it. But you know what? We can try. I like the slow loading. I also saw that the stream got interrupted, so we'll see what that looks like in the videos for the VODs. do this real quick.
Let's test your luck.
I really do need to get better PvP
Under
teams.
the light of the kingdom, all shall kneel. I'm all in.
Oh, I mean, that one
Too
worked
many
fine.
dance partners for my taste.
This one should also work fine enough, right?
How do I look?
Well, we have Red Head for
Sexy,
just pure
perhaps?
DPS if needed.
How do I look? Sexy correctly.
Okay, so we got the win on that. I'm
I
happy.
know not if I can restrain my strength.
And then that one was just an instantaneous win.
Season's rising star.
Okay, well, that's all we really have for today. Hopefully next week we get a lighthearted event. If we get a continuation, I'm going to be kind of pissed.